You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. The show is brought to you by American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency, and Extreme Exteriors. You can count on Extreme Exteriors for expert installation of exterior siding, roofing, soffits, fascia, decks, windows, and more. With their knowledge and experience, they can design the perfect solution to make your home beautiful and energy efficient, saving you maintenance and money for years to come. Give them a call at 763-441-1334 and tell them Gene sent you. It's time now to hear from the Community Associations Institute. The CAI Minute is brought to you by New Concepts Rental Management. Whether you're an accidental landlord or a seasoned investor, New Concepts Rental Management can advise and guide you through every aspect of the business. Give us a call at 952-922-2500.
Are you a member of the Community Associations Institute? For nearly 40 years, CAI has provided education and resources to volunteer homeowners who govern community associations and the professionals who support them. Visit caionline.org to learn more. The address again is caionline.org. CAI helps community associations board members by providing online resources, in-person training, and hard copy publications written by association management experts. CAI offers community managers professional development, networking opportunities, and a certification program that is established as the industry standard nationwide. Minnesota has its own chapter of the Community Associations Institute to bring resources and tools from community associations around the country right to your home. Visit www.cai-mn.com to learn more and become a member of CAI today. Your community and management company will benefit from your involvement. Join the Community Associations Institute today at cai-mn.com and click on membership.
Our guest is senior housing attorney Paul Bernberg with Homeline. We're talking about House File 300, a renter notification bill that would require a landlord to give a 7-day notice prior to being able to evict the renter for a non-payment. And Paul, let me ask you a question. Do you think that 7 days really makes a difference?
Is the exact number magical? No. I mean, there are. If you look at the other states, they vary from 3 to 30 days, with most of them being 3, 5, or 7, a few 9 and 10. But some notice does make a difference. Again, the notice followed by a few days to go get money from something like emergency assistance or the Salvation Army or friends or relatives, or rearranging one's own finances, certainly does make a difference. And the second difference is merely the giving of the notice, be it, 1 day or 3 days or 7 days or 9 days. I mean, 1 day might be a little bit too short, but some tenants just don't realize the seriousness of the situation, partly because some landlords let it slide, and then the tenant's kind of surprised.
Well,
some notice does make a difference.
It seems like we're putting this, on the landlord, but maybe the issue here is that we're talking about a renter who maybe in a situation that they cannot afford. I mean, you mentioned that one of the advantages would be that emergency groups that do assistance, they want to see that it is serious first, that the person's going to lose their home before they give assistance. They have that qualification before they hand out money for a reason, because they don't want to just keep handing out money to someone who doesn't have it in the first place. And I'm just wondering, I don't know if this is necessarily going to really help someone who can't afford the home.
Well, it's not going to help the person who's really so much in a hole that they can't afford it, since it won't stop them stay. I mean, some of those, what it's going to cause them to do is leave within that 7-day period, and that's going to help them because it's going to keep a bad marker off their tenant record. It's going to help the landlord because the landlord doesn't have to spend several weeks and $400 filing the eviction case.
Why would the renter leave? They don't have another place to go. I don't see that happening. Why?
I can tell you. I can tell you they do leave because we get about 12,000 calls a year on our hotline. Now they're not all on this subject, but a good number of them, thousands of them are, and we tell tenants regularly who get some sort of warning letter from their landlord. And as I said, most landlords already do this. And we tell them, look, if you're not going to catch up and you can't catch up with help, or if you're going to only catch up for 1 month and then you're going to be back in the hole again and you're going to be in court over an eviction, you're far better off leaving now before an eviction gets on your record because it creates this, I wouldn't even say a black mark, not even a gray mark in the tenant's record. And so that'd be one of the benefits of this bill. One thing that strikes me here is you've got a bill that basically says the last 10 or 15 or 20% of the landlords do what the good ones are doing, and then somebody who claims to be a good landlord, and probably is sort of protesting that, well, I don't want the last 10% dragged into doing it like me, and it just seems...
Well, I think it's not just the 10 or 20% of what you think are the bad landlords, and I don't even know if that percent. I don't know that that percentage is necessarily what it is. I think the percentage of good landlords are even much higher than that. But I think you end up. Tying the hands of the good landlords as well, and I think there will be other unintended consequences that could happen from this. For example, I know a lot of good landlords who, when someone hasn't made that payment on the first, they have usually given a 10-day a 10-day grace period, and they say get it in by then. If not, then they move forward with an eviction. If they have that 10-day grace period, now this adds another additional week. And it may not seem like a lot to you, but that additional time can be enough to push a landlord now to, by the time they file for the eviction, and then we know it's a couple-week process before it gets heard. And then a lot of times the judge or referee can give a couple of days stay to the renter to try and get things together. And then the person doesn't move out, and now they have to go ahead and get the writ and get that over to the sheriff. And once they get it to the sheriff's office, now the sheriff it doesn't just jump on it right away. It can be anywhere. The last time I heard, it can be 3 to 5 business days before the sheriff's office has time to even respond, to knock on the door to ask someone to get out. And all of this means is that the landlord ends up having, gets pushed way past into the next month. And if they have a chance of finding a good renter instead of a bad one, it'll be someone who's thinking ahead and who's looking to rent at the first of the month. It's very rare that if someone's looking to rent at something in the middle of the month, it's because they are a good renter. They've already prepared their leases generally in place, and it goes from month to month. And so now the landlord gets pushed out even another month without income, and that can be very devastating for them.
I agree with you on the semi-slowness of the eviction process. But what's wrong with what you just said was the beginning process, which is that the landlord who's normally inclined to give 10 days somehow is now going to give 10 plus 7. That's not what I would anticipate landlords doing. I'd anticipate the landlords who now are voluntarily giving what amounts to a 10-day quit or pay notice are going to continue to do that. They might make it 7. They might just continue to do 10. They're not going to change at all.
Oh, well, initially, soon as that gets, the fact of the matter is, soon as this bill, if it does become law, there's going to be a lot of landlords who already have in their lease agreement a notice period or a grace period that they talk about, and guess what? They have to abide by it. They can't go back and say, oh, well, now that it's 7 days, I guess we don't have to adhere to this part of the lease. You know darn well that that lease has to be adhered to.
I know, but with the lease actually, it's very few leases that have it's very few residential leases. Commercial leases tend to because the commercial tenants have some negotiating power. I can tell you it's a very rare residential lease outside subsidized housing where the federal government requires it that requires any kind of warning notice. Many of the leases have a late fee that only kicks in on the third or the fifth of the month, but that's not the warning notice. What our experience is with a good landlord, and by every time they're competent, they're good at collecting money. They give what amounts to a quit or pay notice very early in the month, the second or third day of the month. Now, most of them just get paid. I mean, the tenants, the check literally was in the mail, or the tenant says, "Oh yeah, I forgot," or rushes in and pays. So I don't expect there to be any change in that. The change is going to be the few landlords who don't give quit or pay notices now, and just most of them actually wait and then suddenly do something. Or there are a few that file very, very early in the month. It still takes the end of the month to get the person out of there, maybe, and where they end up with an empty unit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good for anybody. I think you're just wrong about that. I don't think that's a consequence intended or otherwise.
Okay. All right. Well, anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this bill continues to progress. That's about all the time that we have right now. But, Paul, thank you so much for taking time to be on the show today.
No problem at all, and I hope that this voice connection was okay. I've got a cold, and I'm working on a phone. So.
Oh, you were fantastic. Thank you. Folks, that was senior housing attorney Paul Bernberg with Homeline. We're going to take a break, but don't go away. So much more of Where You Live after these messages.